Yeah, I am back to shit on the 2% of people that are still left in this fandom favorite series. It's been like, what, a year and a couple of months since I did my actual piece of content from the channel, and that's because of a few things I will talk about in the end since no one cares about my life. Well, before we do what I promised with the title and the thumbnail, let's actually revisit Returnability and Trust of a Friend in order to catch up on my previous thoughts and see if any of them have changed before going to depth with each episode for Remembrance and the Lover's Stone.
Anyone want to RP?
Because for the Returnability, they still hold up to this day. It's still bad, but at least I can now be respectful and say at least they tried. And it's kinda, and I really do mean kinda, fun to see the villain interact with each other. Besides Starlight and Discord, because, they're really bad. However, this episode really shows that the creators of the show had like no idea how to hook a person's interest in this series. Within 2 episodes, nothing really happens besides preparations for upcoming events and side plots in episode 2 that are pointless besides fulfilling personal ships, which are poor attempts to make us care for them. Oh man, I hope character A will survive long enough to showcase their love towards character B. Man, I really do care for them a lot. Besides that, it's all I will be saying for this series as a whole, since the creator of the series DM'd me saying that I am not allowed to review anymore because of my supposed harsh criticism and me mocking them supposedly, which I can now kind of see how it is a bit harsh and a bit mocking at times, but I really don't understand the level of pettiness about it at the point of not having me even talk about it. Like, man, this is some like Derek level shit.
Get your own copy of the movie and see how entertaining and enjoyable this film is. Bottom line, my word to you, my guarantee to you, you never seen nothing like a Cool Cat Saves the Kids film. I guarantee that.
But I will still respect their wishes and not talk about it beyond just saying this. Both of these episodes are just as uninteresting and bad, if not more than I originally thought they were. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Alright, the series is dead, I think. I wouldn't know what happened behind the scenes because of the creator of the series blocked me on Twitter, and I'm not about to harass them or their crew members about it, so let's just leave it up to speculation. But considering that this video was released on July 26, 2019, and it was saying that the next episode will be released next month, then I guess someone did a fucky-wucky, which led to it being in development hell, I guess. Either way, it would likely never come out soon, since I'm pretty sure everyone a part of this project has pretty much left the fandom or have distanced themselves. So rest in peace, Returnability. We will forget about your existence after this video. 1 out of 10. It's bad, pretty bad.
Everybody, close your ears and your eyes! This is a big one! Why? Just do it!
And speaking of a series being dead, Trust of a Friend is also dead, I think. Funny how this only needed 1 episode to die, while ROV took 2 episodes and entire production hell of episode 3 to kill it. Either way, I don't really have much to say since I kinda think Trust of a Friend is still but some of my criticisms were a bit odd. Like, sure, everything about this episode is pretty oddly written and performed, but oh man, did I made a big deal about it. But hey, at least you guys had something to hook the audience. Meanwhile, it would have taken like episode 4, part 4 for ROV to have something remotely I can't say remotely right. But other than odd nitpicks, again, my opinions remain the same. Will this series return? I highly doubt it. Again, everyone has moved on from the fandom for their own reasons and distancing themselves from their past relationships. So, ROP, Trust of a Friend. Let's get some F's in the chat, boys. 4 out of 10. It's pretty weird. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's actually talk about the Lover's Stone and Remembrance, since they are still alive and will be ending soon. And guess what? My opinions have changed for the better for LTS, better known as Lover's Stone. I'm using shortened anagrams because my god. And parts of Remembrance have gotten worse. But before we go deep into that rabbit hole, let's actually go to the Lover's Stone first.
Thank you, Spike. No, I'd really better leave.
Hey, Spike. What was that all about?
Not a clue. Fluttershy just wanted me to send a letter to the princess. Had to do with Phoenix Care or something.
I have come to make an announcement. Celestia is a bitch's motherfucker. She pissed on my fucking animals.
The Lover's Stone is better than I originally thought. Episode 1 still holds up and has aged like a fine wine. The dialogue is still well written, the story is greatly executed, and the song at the end is fantastically covered by Celestia and P.S. Cold Fire. It has some flaws such as I can't say the fucking name for the fucking life of me. That one next song cover and some audio mixing here and there, but it's pretty good. Like, holy shit. 7.5 out of 10.
I just know that this can't be good, but there's no time to...
Episode 2 is still pretty bad, but not as bad as I originally thought. The writing is still good as ever, and I do like Luna in this episode, but the songs were a far cry from the original. Besides Striking, that one's very catchy. Maybe it's because of the instrumentals, I don't know. The cameos are still forced under your face. Anyone that isn't Discord and Celestia have awkward voice acting. Gypsy Heart and Scarlet Scrim are still pretty bad, and the sudden love connection between Bob and Luna sucks very much, since it just came out of nowhere and felt like a last minute addition to make Bob important to the story. Besides, even then, he still feels very unimportant. It's kinda bad, but it's not good either, since I'd rather be watching something else that was better. 3.5 out of 10.
So what do we need to do right now? More work?
No. We should take a break and maybe play some video games.
What game?
Call of Equestria.
Come on. Come on, baby. I just want out.
Okay, so like, while editing like this part over here with the horrible line, I just realized something. The parody line of Call of Duty implies that there is a game that takes place in World War II and there's Nazis. So, Kenzie, are there fucking Nazis in the Lover's Stone? Episode 3 is decent at best, with some good added small backstory between princesses and Discord, and much more better voice direction than last time. But at worst, with the songs still being incredibly weak, Gypsy and Scarlet still being very underdeveloped and forgettable. Also, that one Forsaken line from Luna is still very painful. Like, oh my god. That alone is worthy of a -1 point. Like, holy shit, how did this exist and not Silent Hills? Not much to say about this other than what I said. It's so... damn. 5 out of 10.
Discord.
Get away from it, Celestia! Don't!
Discord.
Yeah. Oh! Now you fucked up!
And then we finally have episode 4 to look back at, and it's still pretty average, but if it does make you feel any better, it is higher than episode 3. The attempts to patch up Gypsy and Scarlet's character were nice attempts, but they were just that, attempts. The first song is pretty good, and everyone did a great job voice acting their respective roles, but the story in this one is very forgettable, such as the main 6. Like, we don't see much of them, so I have no idea why they deserve their own mediocre song to get the elements of harmony. And even if you wanted to give them screen time, why didn't we get many interactions between the main scene and Discord in order to add more drama to the situation? Instead, we just got a oh shit moment from Fluttershy, and that's really about it. Not much to say about this episode, and then like, it is kind of better than episode 3, but not by a long shot. 5.5 out of 10. Now, that's enough retrospecting. Let's finally get to the new episode. Episode 5, By Your Side. What do I think about it? Drumroll, please. It's fucking good.
Celestia?
We need to talk.
Get the fuck out of my room and play Minecraft!
Good as the first episode though? Well, not really. The episode had a great start and end, but the middle was very lacking and was legitimately kind of boring. Yeah, I know it's meant to showcase Discord preparing his date to correlate with how Celeste is getting ready, and to give Discord a lesson on how to deal with your loved one's frustrations and anger, but we might as well just known that Discord was getting a ring and just go to Celestia and Luna's conversation, since that didn't really add anything to what happened afterwards. But then again, that would make it a very short episode that might as well have been a part of a different episode completely, but oh well. Also, holy shit, I actually like all the songs in this episode. They're all pretty good and well sung. The only major negative to this episode is that Luna and Bob's relationship is still quite bothersome, especially since they're not official, but hey, it could have been worse, but man, I really do wish it was better. However, this is still a good episode, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things that has going against it, but in the end, it proves itself to be a decently cute episode. Like, fuck, the ending is like, holy, it's like 6.5 out of 10. Overall, this series rating has gone up thanks to some retrospecting and how good the recent episode is. Thank God, my worries were put to rest with how this was handled. The Lover's Zone is now what I would call a pretty good series that is very close to being next to Silent Ponyville 2 as audio dramas for the MOP fandom that I would recommend giving a listen during hours of quarantine. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's pretty good and cute and I recommend it a lot. Now about that segment I said earlier.
I've been searching for hours, but there's absolutely nothing here. Ugh. Princess Twilight? Is that you? Oh, it's just you. What are you doing? I was just looking at the
You
latest
shut the
volume
fuck
of
up!
Books
You
and
shut the
Auctions.
fuck up! You shut the fuck up! You shut the
Remembrance's beginnings have aged incredibly poorly. To be specific, episode 1 to 3 has aged so badly and everything is worse than I thought. Episode 1 is the most outdated since it is the very first one. The only kind of redeeming quality that the first episode has is its concept and Chip and Unicorn's acting. Everything else is very bad. The editing is odd. The voice acting is either robotic or awful. Galaxy Star is still the worst original character from what I've seen so far from this fandom, and his story is very weak. As for the music, that's something I'll talk about once I get to episode 3, since that's when I have a lot more to say about the songs in general. Other than that, 3 out of 10.
Okay, sure. Let Galaxy take care of the elements. No pressure.
Ding dong, the wicked bitch is dead. It's a shame the bitch didn't die 87 years ago.
Episode 3 is still bad and even worse as time goes on. The more I think about this episode, the more it makes me mad at how badly this was messed up. And yes, I still remember this was the episode that was rushed due to personal issues, but Jesus Christ, did anyone even notice how bad this episode is? Was everyone back in 2016 so used to garbage that they believed what they were eating up was actually good? I'm asking this, but Bright Discord and its sequel, Existence, basically answers my question. That's all I'm going to say, since they're going to cut some slack for Ashley Each, as again this was rushed. So just know that I think this episode is still very awful, and more awful as time goes on. 1 out of 10.
And what does that matter if I talked with them? It's not gonna change anything. This whole visit is a therapy treatment.
Oh, try me, bitch.
Too bad episode 3 isn't any better. Sure, it did add cadence, which is the only thing that surprisingly holds up, but Twilight becomes very, very unlikable, and anything that isn't written for cadence is very bad and forgettable. However, if I have to give one little extra point that I forgot from my review, is that the animatic for Alone in the Universe is pretty cool, but it's time to talk about the music for the 3 episodes. They're all pretty bad and not catchy in the slightest. The lyrics are pretty artfully written or they're sung artfully. It's hard to believe that these songs were even considered good in 2016, when we had classics like Lullaby for a Princess and basically every single Living Tombstone fan song. Like, I can kind of see why people liked Remembrance back in the forbidden year that was 2016, but however the songs were given a pass? Okay, then, all that aside, episode 3 isn't really memorable, pun intended, besides Cadence scene and her song. As a matter of fact, I had to basically do something to keep my mind active by playing Tetris 99 in order to listen to this shit. 4 out of 10.
I know so. I think you're the only one that can help her, so you shouldn't give up.
All right. I'll try. Mom?
I have a different mic right now, so that will be explained in the end of the video, so don't worry. But anyway, let's go back to the review. Episode 4 has a different story for me since I completely fucked up. I guess I let my scheduling of a video get the best of me. Oh, the irony. What I messed up was Twilight refusing to not use the spell. I misinterpreted it as her not even knowing how to do it. However, it was just her refusing it, which I actually kind of like. However, I don't like how it was quickly handled in the first act. We didn't see Twilight debate with herself if this is where she should change events or not and bring out morality with about how to mix your own happiness and your friend's happiness. Either way, I am still in the wrong for thinking something else that is completely wrong, so this is all on my part. So sorry for the misremembering and the misinterpreting. You are free to use the clown music if you want to. Besides that, this episode is kind of meh for the most part. Songs are pretty average and are a bit catchy at times, but they honestly don't make me feel sad or tense about anything really. It's something I won't be listening to anytime soon since I have better music to be listening to. Cadence is still decently written, however, I can't say the same for the villain. It's odd to see them appear after being missing for 2 episodes without any build-up. Maybe you guys could have added them in the background or something, besides just randomly adding them in this one scene with their own song. And also maybe removing that unnecessary pie scene. And final note, Discord's sudden attachment to Starlight, yeah, of course, Starlight Glimmer, yeah, fucking Starlight. One final note, Discord's sudden attachment to Galaxy Star seems like it was a last thought as someone realized that Discord didn't have any reason to be here in this episode, but hey, it could have been worse. So, moving on, 4.5 out of 10.
It's alright. That's not really what I'm worried about anyways. Celestia? What is the nightmare?
Here it goes. Here it goes.
Meanwhile, opinions for episode 5 and 6 still hold up. They're pretty good and their songs are decent at best. I don't know how high and dumb I was to not think that the last song for episode 5 was fucking amazing and forgot about one of the best tracks from Fire Emblem. Can someone play the fucking clown music again? Oh yeah, and the last song for episode 6. However, it's still bad, but now that I don't have a monkey brain, I understand how this all happened and it does make sense. But there were a lot of missed opportunities for this scene. There could have been a lot of debating and arguing about whether or not Celestia did play a role in making Twilight and Cadence's lives miserable instead of like, you're bad! Okay. With Celestia going down like a little bitch instead of just like debating about it. Yeah, I know episode 7 is there to explain that, but when you really need another one to explain it, instead of just explaining it right now instantly, you should already know you fucked up. Other than that, I really don't have any major issues or any like new opinions about this episode, besides some odd transitioning to scene, which is just an editing problem. These are pretty good episodes with a lot of emotional scenes that play out extremely well. And the 5th episode included the best pony, Trixie, so it gets double points. However, it doesn't do anything beyond good, and I kinda wish it did. 6 out of 10. Episode 7 is still the worst thing I ever witnessed with my own eyes, and I was not excited to revisit this one. I often had to take breaks away from this episode, and when I was going through the song Captive, I had to legit stop what I was doing and listen to an actual good fan music because holy shit, this is so bad. The lyrics are so oddly written with no rhythm at all, and the singing is just so It didn't help either that I am a big fan of Imagine Dragons Believer, and hearing this physically made me recoil in pain, more than that infamous gamer line.
We should take a break and maybe play some video games?
What game?
Call it Equestria?
I wanna die!
In fact, this song perfectly represents this episode in general. It thinks it's so clever and so tense when it's just annoying and boring. I started was getting tired of hearing the Nightmares commentary over old episodes, and by the end, I was so annoyed to the point that I debated whether or not I should just skip this episode or not. Just because it made them laugh about 100 actual times and say, duh, it's your fault for everything. You are rejected, you are rejected, you are rejected, you are rejected, you are—
Will you just shut the fuck up?
Doesn't make your villain and writing clever. Also, the intro song is very cheesy, with its poor attempts to be epic and cool. Like, come on, the original song was pretty good and a good way to set the tone for the series with its piano and slow singing.
On the days of the past and face the future with uncertainty.
Not the— This is the worst episode post 2016, and it's a big shame that it had to be like that, since the first act was so good with its emotionally impactful scenes with Cadence and Twilight. Maybe this was just a small side story written in a notepad or something like Galaxy Star's backstory. It would have saved a lot of resources and time for episode 8. And we probably have gotten episode 9 earlier and be the most highest quality in theory. Keyword in theory. I feel like you can just skip this episode without missing anything at all. 2 out of 10.
This has been a pretty shitty experience.
Yeah, fuck you, dude. I'm gonna kill you for
Because episode 8 isn't what I would exactly call quality. It's very average across the board except for the setting. The setting is honestly very, very cool and looks eerie. But although it is cool, it doesn't really make any sense. If Tyrick and the Changelings were regularly attacking, then how come everyone still has their kill marks and don't have faded eyes? Or more importantly, how is the world not completely destroyed by the time Twilight comes back? Like, Nightmare Star took away everyone's magic, but somehow didn't really take T-Rex and some of the Changelings' magic? Like, that's a huge risk, because they have their own motivations. Yeah, I know, this is a nitpick, and I'm pretty sure this will be explained in episode 10 or so. But if not, then it is a dumb little detail that kind of breaks your setting a bit. Anyway, the themes of this episode is really upfront by just telling us instead of just implicating it. I felt like showcasing what happened between Twilight coming back and Nightmare Star taking over should have been left to interpretation. Therefore, say we know speeches on Galaxy and Flurry. Like, Dan, do we really need 2 speeches about what they are? Like, we already know what their insecurities are, and I don't think it's really the right time to call them out at the same time. It wasn't really earned at all, so I don't really understand why you guys had to do it just right now. The backstory with Luna and the Nightmare is pretty meh with the context of episode 7. Like, imagine how interesting this scene would be if it weren't for the fact that that episode existed. The songs are decent, but they're very unnoteworthy. In fact, I already forgot about them as I was writing the script, and I still don't remember them at all. But for what it's worth, this is a harmless episode that doesn't annoy or make me bored. And it is leagues better than episode 7. Like, holy shit, it is much more better. I just wish this was put in the oven just a little bit more in order to make sure this was the highest quality they can make this episode be. 5 out of 10. Okay, now we are here. The most recent episode released. Be warned that all this was written right after seeing episode 9, so consider it as a first impression rather than like a full-on review. So, what do I think of this episode? Can the drums roll, please? Once again.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Wait! Your Highness, please. I would never support Twilight Sparkle. You have to believe me. Stop, please, my queen.
What a pity. You would think for a society.
He's in, boys! He did it! He said it!
Police, get what you fucking deserve!
Episode 9 is surprisingly pretty good and very emotional. Discord reading Fluttershy's diary is fucking so sad that it was enough to almost, and I really mean almost, cry. Everything about this is really well done and well executed. Those 2 years of production were really put into good use. It clearly shows how much time and effort was put into the writing, the acting, and the singing. Also, damn, all the songs are pretty great and well sung. And the artwork chosen is beyond fantastic. And holy shit, the ending bit is very uneasy and leaves a mark on your remembrance. Now for real, the ending is really good, with her overhearing Kaden saying that she wants her gone in the Nightmare's final conversation. It leaves you on the edge of your seat as to what's gonna happen next. Man, this episode really caught me off guard and had legit surprised me, which really has me hyped for episode 10. Good job, Ashley. You did a goodie. 7.5 out of 10. You know, episode 9 is what the series should have been in the first place with its first episode. You know, acting like it's a sad series instead of, you know, actually being a sad series. That's why episode 1 to 3 were more painful to watch, because it pretended to be so great and mighty with its characters and emotional beats instead of actually acting upon it. And as for episode 7 again, it acted like it was saying something clever and thought-provoking instead of being like it. Just because you made Twilight act sad because when her friends are dead doesn't automatically make it sad. And for episode 7, again, just because you make the villain laugh a billion times and say some lines that sound like something you would hear in a Facebook post that someone has the anonymous dude profile pic doesn't make it automatically clever. However, thankfully Ashley has learned their ways to make an actual touching scene that makes you feel such sadness watching it. But does that equal the series getting an 8 out of 10? Well, not really. That's because the first 3 episodes were so bad that I don't think anyone would really enjoy it if they had very high expectations thanks to the comment section and what everyone says about this series. And even in episode 5 and 6 and kinda-ish episode 4 and 8 were at their best just good to average, but weren't anything remarkable compared to its competitors that make them actually feel something. Sure, episode 9 is something I would call the first actual, and I really mean actual, good episode that will make you close to crying, but it's just one episode and not a singular episode can represent a series entirely. So I give it a 6 out of 10. Just don't expect much from it at the beginning in order to fully appreciate the rest of the episodes. Wow, on this newfound liking to this series gave me a realization that maybe Bright Discord isn't that bad. Let's check right now. Oh wait, never mind. It's fucking trash. But that's a video for next time.
This feels a lot like hell.
And that's about it for everything related to audio drums. Now, time for everyone's favorite segment for videos like these are updates. So where have it been? Dying.
I hurt myself today.
Everything I want to say is very personal, so I'll just leave it down to the description below if you're interested enough to know. But for those who just want a too long didn't read summary, just Photoshop this comment from Ashley on one of my videos to the poorly aged things Twitter account. But am I back from the dead once again? Well, maybe, not really, I don't know. I really want to explore different types of content, such as doing SFM shorts, in the same line as the one with the Call Me Carson one. However, I still want to stick with reviews, but sadly, on different topics. Why? Because I'm very uninterested in MLP content nowadays, and the only ones that I really want to make videos on are on the Silent Hill Ponyville 2 series, which I just announced is in the works right now, and the Brighter Discord series alongside its sequel series, unless something catches my eye. Even if a series actually catches my eye, I have to see if it's even worthy to do a full-length critique as long as the Remembrance video. But just know that after these 3 videos are done, that's about it on audio dramas. Now just completely move on to different topics. Until then, look forward to what I have in store. Bye. Have a nice day, I guess. But one last thing. If the Remembrance series does not end with at least one murder track played in this entire series, and if we don't see a gay marriage between Galaxy Star and fucking Flurry Heart, then what's really the point of ending the series? Also, I'm trans, I'm a girl now. I go by she and her pronouns, and I'm Kari. Fuck you, trans trolls. See you at the Silent Ponyville 2 review, or something, I don't know. Bye, I guess.